So good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Carla Novoa, and thank you all for attending the seminar, specifically for entrepreneurs. I'm a business professor at Harvard University, and I've conducted various panel discussions on a wide variety of business topics, and I have worked as a moderator and as a panelist, so I do have some experience in both fields. Now, today, I want to first thank you guys for taking time out of your hectic schedules to be here. It's really great. And I have them here, and I'm going to introduce them to you. First, I'm going to start off with Stephanie Mejia, who is a graduate from Columbia University, who has a degree in business management and currently works for West Elm Corporate. Then we have Guillermo Cruz, who is the CFO of Mercedes-Benz, graduate from Harvard University, and who has a degree in finance. Then we have Javier Gutierrez, who is the president of Babson University, who has a degree in business administration from Babson University. And lastly, but certainly not least, we have Joe Benavides, who has a degree in business communications, and he obtained his degree from Wharton University, and he currently works for Bloomberg Business Magazine as editor-in-chief for the past 5 years. So the purpose of this panel is for you all, entrepreneurs, to gain some insight on the different perspectives on the topic base salary versus commission in the workplace. And that'll really, it's really important for you guys to hear this because you will be having to make a decision on what you're going to do in your own personal business here in the near future. As moderator, I'm going to ask each panelist 2 questions with approximately 1.5 minutes to respond to my question. If they go over their time, I will politely interrupt them and I will have to move on to the next panelist. As audience members, please, I ask you to hold all your questions until the end, where I will allow 5 minutes for Q&A. With that being said, I'm going to begin. Stephanie, the first question is for you. What is your position on base salary versus commission in the workplace and why?
Well, like Carla said, my name is Stephanie Mejia, and I am a general manager for West Elm. And my position is that I am for base salary. I think it benefits the employees, the employer, and the customers. In a commission-based business, I feel like the employee is focusing all their time on trying to sell the most expensive item rather than really tending to the needs of the customer and what they want, which I think leads to less customer satisfaction. And another thing is that it encourages a behavior where they only think about the short-term success of their personal success rather than the long-term success of the company. And some places even encourage inappropriate behaviors such as mortgage endowments and to people who can't afford them. And employees, more and more employers are changing from commission to a more higher-based salary, and it's being very beneficial to a lot of people. And I believe with a healthy working environment and a strong brand that the practice of selling becomes more soft and more client-based rather than pushy and aggressive like commission businesses tend to be, where all they are is after the money rather than what the client wants.
Thank you very much for that, Stephanie. I really appreciate your input. Now I'm going to direct the same question to Guillermo. Now, what is your position on base salary versus commission, and please explain your reasons why.
Thanks, Carla. As she said, my name is Guillermo Cruz. I'm a graduate from Harvard University and CFO of Mercedes-Benz. So my position in this panel is definitely for commission. Commission is a payment made to the employees based on their sales achieved. So naturally, commission works as an incentive pay for the work they have done. This way, the employees feel appreciated for what they have done. If they sell more, they get more payment. If they naturally are going to put more effort because they're naturally going to want more payment, definitely. So this is kind of a competition between them and a competition within themselves. They're going to hit some goals. If they gain some money in this month, they're gonna want a better payment next month. So they're just gonna, how are you gonna get a better payment? Just by working a lot and by getting more sales. So by this commission scheme right now, it's gonna be very good for just starting businesses because the most important part of a business is profiting. And profiting, it's mostly sales and selling your product. If you put a commission scheme, you're gonna have all your employees concentrating in your sales and they're gonna want more payment. They're gonna sell more. If you sell more, naturally you're gonna have more revenue, more income, and that will impulse a rapid growth inside your corporation as a new business.
Well, thank you very much for that, Guillermo. So now, Javier, what is your position on base salary versus commission, and please elaborate as to why?
As Dr. Novoa said, I'm Javier Gutierrez. I am president of Babson University, and I'm for salary, and I have dropped down 3 major points in which I think salary excels. In which the first one being, I think it creates a secure payment method, in which commission does not, because you depend a lot on the sales you make. The second one being, it creates also when you entrepreneurships, when you go out there and you start creating your LLCs, your limited liability companies, which you would often start up with, having a secure payment will allow you to plan in the short run, and it will allow you to plan out on your projection sales and such. The third and last one being that I've taken part the human factor, in which we all get nervous, we all get sick, we all get through tragedies or something in our life. So if you're not working, you're not getting paid, and if you're not working, you don't have cash in your wallet. And that is why I'm for salary.
Thank you very much for that, Javier. So now I'm going to direct the question to Joe. What is your position on base salary versus commission, and please explain why?
Alrighty, thank you, Dr. Lobo. As she mentioned, I am Joe Benavides, Editor-in-Chief of Bloomberg Business Magazine. Now, to all you young aspiring entrepreneurs, basically the main goal you want to look for when you're starting a company is keeping as much money in your pocket. Now, how do you do this? You focus on the infrastructure of the company. Now, according to Rapid Timber Company, a company that's based off of commission, when it comes to commission, there are variables such as management system, outstanding sales tools, and other aspects such as that focus on the building of the company that will help it strive and make it successful, in other words. Now, being that your company is product driven, as Mr. Guillermo said, if an employee is putting in minimum effort into selling a product, then you are not wasting your payroll funds. Basically, you're only paying those who are out working harder, and basically you're getting more bang for your buck, in other words. And your salespeople are standing out, which is definitely a good thing. Now, another question that you may want to ask yourself is, what products are you selling? You need to focus on the higher margin products, basically those products that cost more money, because in return you're getting more gross profit. According to Cisco's John Chambers, who's actually the CEO, another great advantage to the commission side of the industry is that it's less tax obligations. So basically, compared to salary positions, due to the freelance nature of the work, you're not paying as much taxes.
Well, thank you so much for that. So now I'm going to start off with a new question that's going to be directed against Stephanie. Based on your stance on base salary versus commission, how has that influenced your life in the workplace personally?
Well, again, I'm Stephanie, and personally, I have worked for West Elm for a number of years. I started off as a saleswoman, and personally, I really enjoyed doing base salary because it's a lot less stressful. I don't have to worry as much throughout the day, and but now in a managerial position, I see both sides of the spectrum. And speaking with my employees, they also prefer base salary because they think it creates a better environment within the workplace. It's not as catty or cutthroat with different employees, and I feel like my employees are really after what the customer wants instead of what's in their wallet. And most of the staff say they do prefer the security of a high proportion of guaranteed income. And actually at West Elm, we reward with a bonus pot at the end of the year or the section. And this will be shared between all the employees instead of rewarding individual performance. And that is my personal experience with base salary.
Thank you so much for that, Stephanie. Now, Guillermo, I'm going to ask you the same question. How has base salary or commission influenced your life personally in the workplace?
Okay, Carla, as you all know, again, my name is Guillermo. And well, in Mercedes-Benz, our most important income comes from sales. our salesmen are probably our most important asset in our company. So I gotta tell you, in time we have had all types of salesmen. We have had good salesmen, bad salesmen, lazy salesmen, great performing salesmen, productive. So this scheme of commission that we apply in Mercedes-Benz, let us reward the best salesman with the higher payment. So naturally, our worst salesmen won't have quite a pay, so they're just gonna quit or just go. So our technique in Mercedes-Benz is hire a lot of staff and just take the best ones. The other ones are just gonna quit naturally. So this way, we could have improving income, the best performance we could ever get. Our people is gonna have a great salary, a great payment. They're gonna be happy with Mercedes-Benz because they're giving them a great salary, and Mercedes-Benz is also gonna be happy because of the performance it has. So naturally, it's a perfect scheme to cause a rapid growth in your company. If people it's happy and you have the best workers inside your company, you're gonna have the best performance ever inside your own business.
Thank you very much, Guillermo. Now, Javier, based on your stance, how has base salary or commission influenced your life personally in the workplace?
As Dr. Nuno said, once again, I'm Javier, and I think that salary has provided confidence in my life, and due to the planning that it allows me to do with in my current situation with my supporting wife and my twin daughters and my son, in which I believe it goes all the way back to when I first graduated from Babson University, in which I started a limited liability company in a green factory, in which we insulated mid-sized houses, and I did this with an associate also from Babson University. Back then, the United States wasn't so eco-friendly, so that provided me with a safety net for my family and its development. And right now, as green has gone more pervasive throughout the United States, that has really boosted up my sales and has made quite a good transaction for me.
Thank you very much for that, Javier. Now, Joe, I'm going to ask you the last question. So based on your stance, how has base salary or commission influenced your life personally in the workforce?
Thank you. Like you said, once again, I'm Joe. And actually, Javier has a very good point. He stated that sustainability and a safety net has helped him buy a base salary. However, I have a pretty good story for you all. Back when I was around 13, 14 years old, my parents wanted me to get a job. So I said, you know what, the easiest thing, I'll work on Sundays by selling newspapers. So by doing this, my boss asked me, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to sell newspapers off of base salary or off of commission? And I said, well, I mean, who knows how much I'm going to sell? Why don't I start off with a base salary? So great, I started selling newspapers every Sunday. Little did I know I was going to sell a lot of newspapers. So after around 2 weeks of selling, I asked my boss, hey, Mr. Kirkpatrick, do you mind if I start making money off of commission sales, off of every newspaper I sell? Basically by getting a percentage out of every newspaper being sold. And he said, yeah, that's fine, go ahead. And by doing this, I doubled my sales, doubled my income, and it basically helped me in a great way at a very young age. So I definitely recommend it to all of you young entrepreneurs, taking that into effect and taking that into consideration.
Well, thank you so much for that. So to conclude today's presentation, we had Stephanie Mejia, who stated that base salary really allows a stress-free environment, which leads to overall better customer satisfaction. And then Guillermo Cruz stated how he was for commission, believing that workers' desire to gain more money each month will allow them to strive more and more and try to sell more each month, which will allow for better sales for Mercedes-Benz overall. Then Javier Gutierrez stated how he was for base salary because it does provide financial security and encourages workers to plan ahead. And then Mr. Joe Benavides stated that he was for commission due to the fact that starting businesses can't afford to incur such a cost as base salary. And he obtained this information by interviewing professionals at Bloomberg Magazine, and that's how he got that information. So now I want to take the opportunity to thank you panelists panelists for taking time out of your busy and hectic schedules to be here today. And I do want to thank you all, entrepreneurs, for being here and taking the opportunity to really gather this information, be enriched by these professionals who are really here to offer you some information that's really invaluable and that you can apply to your business in the future. With that being said, that concludes today's presentation, and I want to open up the floor for any questions that you may have for us. Yes.
Based on people that you've interviewed or written about, how has commission sales helped certain customers strive?
Very good question. I'm going to direct that to Mr. Benavides here. And the question was, based on people that you've interviewed or talked to, how has commission sales helped certain customers strive?
Okay, thank you. Now, that's a very good question. Now, throughout my years as editor-in-chief, I've interviewed and met with many CEOs and many companies that have strived throughout the years. Now, one is Larry Ellison. He is actually the CEO of Oracle, and this man is number 6 in Forbes, has one of the largest businesses right now as far as commission-based. Now, his employees are making up to $77,000 a year straight off of commission. Definitely helped him in, throughout his process, and like I said, it focused on his infrastructure. He focuses on selling his higher margin products, meaning basically, let's say I'm selling you a product at $1, right? Your sales margin is at 35%. That means that you're at 35 cents of each dollar you are being made, and you're making, and it's your profit. So you have more money to mess around with and more money to pay off of your employees and whatnot. And that has definitely helped Larry Ellison, the CEO of Oracle, and many other companies such as Hewlett-Packard, Cisco, many companies that have been based off of commission. You're welcome.
Yes.
How can I be sure I won't bankrupt my business by hiring a lot of employees on commission base?
So I'm going to direct that question to Gemma. The question was, how could she be sure that by starting her business, not going bankrupt by hiring a lot of employees that are on commission?
Well, that's a great question, and it's very confusing to a lot of people. So what happens if you hire a lot of workers, let's say 100 workers? So you're going to gain the revenue of 100 workers, and you're going to pay them a certain percentage of that revenue. What happens if you just hire 10 workers? You're going to get 10 workers revenue, and you're going to get the same percentage of that 10 workers revenue. So you actually, no matter how many workers you have inside your company, you're going to pay the same percentage of your revenue. So this is not you cannot lose on this scheme, because what you're gaining, you're giving just a little part of it. How many workers, if you get a lot of workers, you're just going to give them a certain percentage of that fund that you have. So it's not that you're going to go bankruptcy, but I mean, you just get your best workers going on, and they're just going to quit because of lack of payment of the other ones. So you're going to stay with a lot of work with the best workers, and you're going to pay them what they actually want to, or more.
Very good. Does anyone else have any questions? Yes.
How do you avoid getting stuck in a low salary paying job?
I'm going to direct that question to Javier. And the question was, how did you avoid getting stuck in a low salary paying job? How to avoid getting stuck in a low paying job?
In my experience, I would say choosing your job wisely is going to be one of the main things, because you have to have passion in what you do. Like, if you take passion out of the equation, you won't think about moving anywhere or striving to get anywhere. So.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions for us? Yes.
How can one be sure that by base salary we're going to have more talented people than by commission paid?
All right, I'm going to direct that question to Stephanie, and the question was, how can he be sure that by base salary he's going to have talented individuals in his workplace rather than commission sales?
Okay, well, thank you for that question. One of the main arguments with base salary is saying that you won't have motivated workers, but what you have to take into consideration is that your interview process, especially you guys as entrepreneurs and starting your own businesses, you have to make sure you hire diligent, hardworking employees that are really 100% into the company, commission or not. And just because it is a base salary doesn't mean the employee can just go along and not be involved and still make money. In a base salary, or just any company, if they're not meeting the requirements and the expectations of the company, then they will have to be let go. And that is with base salary or commission. And you will have talented workers if you let go people, and it'll create, at the end, it'll create a really good pool of talented workers. And that is it.
Thank you very much for that. So that concludes today's presentation. Thank you all for coming out, and have a good rest of the day.